Welcome one, welcome all to SimSpeed TV for the penultimate round of the Oceanic Dirt Sim Events Australian Sprintcar Championships for 2024. It's our last round in the 410 sprint cars here, and we are at a wonderful venue for it. We get to have them wide open the whole way around at the dirt track at Charlotte. Super wide, super fast, should be some great racing here for the second last round of what has turned out to be quite a close championship, and some notable absences for this round due to other drivers having real-world racing commitments. It's going to be a fun night of racing, and we certainly hope that at the ASR Charlotte Rumble, you'll have a very good time indeed here on SimSpeed TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Kick. I'm Reese Gardner, Jay Kennedy alongside me in the comms box once again for this round. Jay, we love the dirt track at Charlotte. It's one of the most popular dirt tracks on iRacing, and for very good reason.
Have to remember to turn my mic on. Yeah, 100% race. It's a really, really cool track, and it's one of our favourites. Great way to finish off the second last round of the season, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out. It's going to be a very, very entertaining race or races tonight around this very, very iconic track. I remember we've raced a few brilliant races here in the past, and as you said, wide open. Our last race for the season in the 410 sprint cars as well, so I think we're going to have a very, very good show to send these ones off.
Yep, I certainly think we will as well. Of course, the dirt track at Charlotte is a pretty easy name to figure out. It's right next to Charlotte Motor Speedway, which is one of the iconic ovals of the NASCAR schedule. It's been around since the 1960s. Concord, North Carolina. This place opened at the turn of the millennium, May 2000. It is almost half a mile in length, with banking all the way around, 13 degrees in the turns and 4 degrees on the straightaways. But one thing you can certainly see is that it's wide. There's going to be a lot of line experimentation going on early on in this race, but by the end, who's going to be running at the top, who's going to be running up at the bottom? It's going to be an interesting night.
100%. It's going to be very, very interesting. I just noticed that the screen's gone black because I forgot to click the right button. But it's going to be a very, 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 very cool track for racing, and it should be a very, very interesting way to finish off the 410 part of the season and make the championship very, very tight come out of this round.
Yeah, certainly will. Really enjoying how the championship standings are shaking up. Tim Ryan has had a really good run of rounds the last few times we've run, but Ethan Winter remaining in the championship lead for BBS Motorsports. Nathan van der Wacker, the winner of the last feature, with Harry Stewart absent tonight thanks to real-world racing commitments. So he's going to be facing a lot of pressure at the final round, which cannot be dropped for championship points. So this is the last chance for many drivers to drop around. Baldwin and Noonan very close together for 6th spot. Bradley Oldfield seeing some success this season, 16 points ahead of Cole Ferguson, Josh Barry rounding out the top 10. So we'll see who ends up gaining or losing over the course of this event. It's going to be an event with a last chance qualifier, just a single run through the alphabet before the A main. The top 5 are advancing to the main from each heat. The top 4 will advance from the single last chance qualifier. And once again, A main starting orders in the top 8 will be by redraw, thanks to our good friend, the spinning wheel, Jay.
Yeah, spinning wheel will come into play later on tonight again. But depending on how many we have, we may only have a redraw of 6 cars. We might only have a couple of heats tonight due to issues, but with a few away for real-world commitments. But yeah, we're just about to get into the quick time session now and get things underway. It's going to be a very, very interesting night.
Yep, who's going to get the quick time is the big question. We obviously will be expecting Tim Ryan to be out there very late in the 4-minute 2-lap qualifying session about to run here. We can see that the track is been worn in quite a fair way in the practice session, already seeing a bit of slick starting to form. So I'm thinking there'll be some drivers trying their best to run the top the whole way around, but I think most drivers will be trying to stick to the bottom through the corners. It's the geometric fastest line through these turns, but running up the top, obviously, with great advantage around a high-speed track. This is where the sprint cars will be showing their downforce prowess the most. One of the first cars out on track being Tristo Yelland and Brady Baldwin here in the number 7, running the top all the way around for some maximum momentum on the outlap, and then 2 laps to run here to set his time for the heat grids. Brady's running very close to the wall on the first lap as well. I think he'll try and dip down a little bit lower here on lap 2. There he goes, down to the bottom. Got to be careful not to clip those white tyres on the insides of these corners. They can ruin your day very quickly.
100% they can, and we've seen in races past how quickly it's ended drivers' nights. So wouldn't be surprised if we see a few drivers have issues tonight throughout with those tyres. As you said, it does really make big impacts when we see drivers hit them. We saw last round, we saw issues with the tyres. I think was it Joel Berkeley we saw in the B main had issues with the tyres and made contact and caused all sorts of havoc. It's Cole Ferguson there, that was very, very close.
Yeah, it was. I think he just clipped him, but he's managed to keep going, and his first lap on the board is going to be a 12.7. Might be able to go a little bit quicker here on lap 2. He's running a little bit closer down to the bottom this time, avoids clipping the tyres down low, and to the line he'll come. It'll be a gain of 0.4 of a second, puts him up into 4th overall. Kobe Noonan just elevating himself to P2. Bailey Leeson, meanwhile, going 8th fastest for the time being. Cameron De Bruin and Riley Bilson both making big improvements. Bilson to 6th and De Bruin up to 4th. It's a good night for some drivers who managed to find some extra pace around here. Oldfield, meanwhile, not able to improve beyond about 9th spot, with John Schultz now elevating himself into 4th. Good run from the number 78 on his first lap. Is there going to be any improvement from him there? A 12.36 or 12.4 on his second lap won't be an improvement. Let's see how Zach Rattray-White does.
Yeah, Rattray-White, who's been probably one of the surprising stars of the season so far, hasn't he? He's really impressed. Not someone that we may have expected to be as successful as he has been. More used to seeing him in tin tops, but he's really taken well to this series this season, and it's great to see how well he's done. Currently 4th in the timing as Clayton Davies comes to start his first proper lap. His warm-up lap, I guess is the right way to describe it, puts him into P number 18. This is the proper run though. What will his time be? Pop him up into 11th position, and that looks like everyone is done. The only driver left to run is Nathan Vanderwacker, who's actually dropped out of the service. So fingers crossed for Vanderwacker. We see him get back in just a few moments.
Yeah, hopefully. Vanderwacker going from the high of winning the feature last round to all the way down to 23rd of the drivers to set times in this session. And usually a feature grid is 24 cars. So we have one less than that racing tonight. We are just going to be sorting out the starting order for the feature, really, from the results of our preliminary races. We won't be saying goodbye to anyone tonight, at least until there's the inevitable big one in the feature around such a fast track. Well, that's the session run and done. And, well, congratulations to Brady Baldwin, our series administrator, and fastest driver in the quick time session. He will be starting on pole position for the first heat of the night. Ethan Winter, championship leader, still showing up and still keeping himself right at the front of this field, only 1,000th of a second slower than Brady Baldwin there. Barry Noonan and Rattray-White rounding out the top 5. The gaps, of course, incredibly close, as they always are. Ferguson rounding out the top 10 there, less than 0.2 off.
Second too.
Yeah, the 1,000th of a second. Yeah, absolutely crazy closeness there with Baldwin and Winter Sorry,
looks
it's going to
better.
be Baldwin and Noonan, yes, being on the front row of the Heat 1 starting grid. Aston Hurley and Cole Ferguson on the second row. Hayden Vickers and Bailey Leeson 5th and 6th. And then it's Robert Crawley, who's starting in 7th spot, with Nathan van der Wacker lining up in 8th. And it's going to be crucial here for van der Wacker. He has reconnected to the server, but... it's Corey Borden who's going to be starting in 8th place. My apologies, I was looking at the wrong place on the timing screen. But van der Wacker has reconnected to the server, so he will take his starting spot as last in Heat 2. Well, now we round our couple of corners here, Jay, and get ready for a start here. It's time to go racing at Charlotte once again.
Yeah, and this has always been one of the more popular tracks for the drivers as well. They do love coming here to this circuit. Always provides great racing, and I'm sure we're going to have a great show tonight. As long as my tech issues don't keep happening, we'll be all good. It's not just here. I'm having tech issues. Race control's having tech issues. Drivers are having tech issues. Hopefully it's not a sign of things to come, and hopefully we get through the night okay.
Yeah, indeed. All we need now is for a random strike of lightning from a clear sky to completely fry my PC. But in any case, we're about to get going here. Remember, the top 5 transfer through to the feature straight from the heats. The rest of them have to go into the last chance qualifier, as Baldwin is going to lead us away. A poor start from Aston Hurley. He falls back down a little bit, and he's getting swamped round the outside and inside by Hayden Vickers and Cole Ferguson. A brilliant start from the both of them, and crucially now for Aston, he's under pressure from Crawley and Leeson for that transfer spot. Look at the run that Ferguson has. His qualifying didn't go too well, but it seems like that car's set up beautifully for the race.
And Aston Hurley's struggling too, isn't he? He's dropping a long way back. He's back now to 6th position, so he's not had the best run. He's going to lose another spot here to Bailey Leeson potentially as well. So something not right with Aston Hurley's setup. He's got it set up beautifully for qualifying, but just has got no pace when it comes to the race.
Yeah, well, we'll see if Aston will be able to fight his way back up into 5th. It's certainly within his reach. Robert Crawley not too far ahead there, as you can see. There's Aston in the number 99 chasing down Bailey Leeson, but making a little bit of contact with him at the apex, and that's just going to ruin the momentum there for Aston. He's going to fall well outside the window there and might have picked up some damage too. Meanwhile, there goes Ferguson, gets up into the top 3, putting Vickers down to 4th, and Hayden could potentially lose out on that 4th place, as well as Leeson and Crawley trading spots there for 5th. Hayden Vickers now in the transfer spot. If Crawley gets a good run going, Vickers will be in trouble here, but there's only 1 lap to go at the front of this field. Brady Baldwin dominating this opening heat of the night. Keep an eye on Vickers to see if he can hold on to the transfer spot. Crawley running all the way to the inside, and it seems like Vickers is struggling a bit to find some grip there. Baldwin wins. Noonan and Ferguson are your podium, and then it's Leeson and Vickers to round out the top 5. They'll transfer straight through to the feature. Crawley, Borden and Hurley will have to work their way through that last chance qualifier yet to come. Yeah, it's a real shame to see that Aston Hurley had such a massive fall off in pace there.
Yeah, well, he ended up not even finishing the race in the end, so I'm not sure what happened to him and why the pace drop off was so severe, but just really struggled. But top 5 go through: Baldwin, Noonan, Ferguson, Leeson and Vickers. That will be the top 5 already through to the final of the night. And heat number 2 starting now, and as you said, a few big names in this one: Ethan Winter, Zach Rattray White starting off the front row, with John Schultz and Clayton Davies next, Bradley Oldfield, Sean Stevens. Then the last 2 drivers will be Daniel Nicol and Nathan van der Wacker, who, as you said, had issues in qualifying. He's now made it out onto the track. Fingers crossed he has a bit more success come racing than he did in that qualifying run.
Yeah, it's unclear exactly how quick he's going to be relative to everyone else, but I'm looking at his times from practice, and he was within about 0.08 of a second of Ethan Winter on practice pace. So I think van der Wacker might stand a chance of working his way forward here. It'll be interesting to see, but regardless, we'll have to keep an eye on Mr. Winter in that number 39 to see if he can come away with the win here from Zach Rattray White, who's shown some pretty stonking pace around this flat-out circuit.
Yeah, fingers crossed we do see some good pace from Van der Wacker. We've seen throughout the season how quick he has been, so we'll see how it plays out now. I'm guessing, yeah, the pace car's going to run around for a second lap, so I think we'll see 2 pace laps all night as well, just to get the field ready for these races. As we said, it's probably going to be a very short night with how many cars we've got, with no 4th heat, no C main. We're going to whip through this night, and if the racing's as hot as we've had in the previous rounds, it's going to be a very, very entertaining and quick night.
Yeah, certainly is. Absolutely love the quick, short, sharp nature of dirt racing. It's over in a flash, but so much happens over the course of a mere 8 laps that they're going to be racing from this moment. Ethan Winter getting the jump over Zach Rattray-White as Heat 2 begins, and John Schultz protecting 3rd place on the inside there. Clayton Davies didn't get as much of a quick start as he would have wanted. The number 51 there of Bradley Oldfield struggling to try and make up the position, but oh my god, there we go, that's Davies in the wall, and he ended up collecting Sean Stevens as well, but they both managed to keep going.
And Van der Wacker now has made his way up into position number 5. That is the transfer spot, so Van der Wacker from the rear of the field now into those transfer positions, and the guys behind him fighting probably a little bit too hard for how they're going to tackle this race. Side by side there, Stevens and Davies, 2 drivers you put down straight away as automatic qualifiers into the A-main.
Yeah, but they are fighting over 6th spot and struggling to try and make an impression on Van der Wacker, who's just minding his own business there in 5th spot. For the time being, it looks like majority of the drivers outside of our top 3 are comfortable running the high line. Ethan Winter's switching around a little bit at the front. This is the stage of the night where drivers are feeling out how the track is evolving. They're not going to get a C main and all the extra running that implies to really see how the track is going to form up over the course of the night. So now is the time to experiment with your lines and see where the grip is, and for Bradley Oldfield it looks like running the wall is where it's at.
Exactly right, Oldfield's making really good pace at the moment. Schultz struggling a little bit. Van der Wacker's starting to feel a bit of trouble coming from behind. Look how close Davies and Stevens have got now that they've stopped their bickering, stopped their fighting. Davies almost gets ahead of Van der Wacker and then gets a little bump. Oh no, that ends it for those 2.
Oh, it certainly does. Thank goodness for them. It happened after the checkered flag.
Yep, I wasn't paying enough attention to that.
Yeah,
one of those nights, Reese.
Yeah, indeed. I understand. I've had plenty of those nights myself. Well, those are the results from Heat 2. Ethan Winter taking the win by a full second over Rattray-White and Oldfield. Schultz and Van der Wacker will round out your top 5 and transfer straight through to the feature. Davies, Stevens and Nickel will have to sort it out in the last chance qualifier. Josh Barry and Jaden Russell are your front row for the 3rd and final heat of the night. Then it's De Bruin and Bilson, followed by Boyd and Nick Ryan. And the final starter is going to be Tristo from Nero Power. Tristo Yelland, long-time dirt racing competitor, and always good to see him doing well. We'll see if he can sneak into the top 5 here.
He's had some decent form the last few weeks too, hasn't he? So he's been able to sneak through and get himself into those finals. Does a great job, does Tristo. And we'll see how he goes in this one. We're just waiting for the clock to tick down and drivers will start pacing off in the final heat of the night. Amazing to think that we're already at the end of the heats.
Yeah, we've only been live for, 20 minutes now, and we're already getting up to the last chance qualifier.
Half
and
of that time was fixing issues, so we've done really well.
Yeah, indeed. Well, we'll get a moment to just calm ourselves, take a few deep breaths before the racing action starts again for another 8 laps. Josh Barry certainly showing some great form here, but Jaden Russell is always one to look out for. The Synergy number 27 has some great pace, and his results haven't always reflected that.
See how this race plays out, and only 2 miss out and we'll go into the B main. Well, a consolation race, the LCQ. I don't know what we call it tonight when there's only one.
Yeah.
I guess it's an LCQ.
Yeah, I suppose so. But in any case, there aren't going to be any drivers missing out because we have 23 drivers in the server, and a feature grid is usually capped at 24 cars. So everyone is going to be able to get a chance to race tonight with our noted absences from the likes of Harry Stewart and Tim Ryan, among others. But yeah, still looking forward to seeing how this second last round of the championship goes, as Barry is going to line up here for the start. He's away from the top and right down to the bottom as the green flag flies. Jaden Russell will hold on to second for the moment, but the number 13 of Cameron De Bruin right on the back of him. Keep an eye out for the 91 of Riley Bilson. He's got a lot of pace at hand, and it was a bit of a slight run from Cameron De Bruin down the bottom, a bit of a slide for him, and that has taken him out of contention for the podium. Bilson side by side with Russell. He wants that second spot. Got to keep an eye out for fifth place. Daniel Boyd currently occupying fourth as De Bruin struggles to hold on.
Yeah, De Bruin struggling to hold that position from Nick Ryan, who's closing in pretty quickly. And around the outside goes Nick Ryan in the 7. Will he take the spot? I think he will. He's just got too much power around the outside. The inside looks like it may already be done, and the outside is working well. In saying that, coming through turn 3, De Bruin makes the inside work, but not enough momentum at the exit of the corner.
Yeah, the one part of the track that doesn't change over the course of a night is the location of the walls. So, yeah, I think... Yeah, Nick Ryan running the right rear into there, so he'll hold on for the time being to fifth. I don't see a chance of much of a fight back from De Bruin there. Josh Barry doesn't seem to be under much pressure from Jaden Russell in the top 5, but we'll have to wait and see on that. Russell did run ever so slightly faster on the previous lap, but we only have 1.5 laps remaining in this race, so it's definitely going to be on for second on back. Jaden Russell versus Riley Bilson. Look at how close they are. Bilson is going to cut down to the bottom here for a potential run at Russell for second, but it's not going to happen. The finish is upon us, and Barry, Russell and Bilson are your podium, with Daniel Boyd and Nick Ryan rounding out the top 5. De Bruin and Yelland, they both had a pretty quiet race, and will have one more chance to improve their starting position for the feature from here. Of course, Liam James down there in race control, part of the quote-unquote field for this race, but not taking part. So that brings to an end the heat portion of the night. Now we get into the LCQ, and it is going to be an 8-car race here with Rob Crawley and Clayton Davies on our front row. Cameron De Bruin and Corey Borden start 3rd and 4th. Then we have Stevens and Yelland on row 3. Hurley and Nickel rounding out our field. And certainly hope for Aston Hurley's sake that he's managed to sort out whatever issues were affecting his pace in his heat.
100%. Fingers crossed he's all okay. And as you said, those issues are sorted, because a little bit sad to see the pace drop off that he had from the QuickTime session through to the race, because he had great pace in that QuickTime, but to see him have nothing when it came time for the race was a little heartbreaking to see. Fingers crossed we see a clean one in this one too. This race doesn't mean a huge amount, literally sets the order for the drivers in the A main, so I guess this is a race for these guys to feel out the track a little bit more, understand it a little bit more, because the guys that raced in the A main, it's going to be a very, very different experience for them compared to what we've got now.
Yeah, indeed. Last little bit of track evolution before we get things going for the 35-lap A main here tonight, and I await with bated breath to see what the starting order is going to be for the final 8 spots on this grid. Rob Crawley starting from pole position. He's going to have a lot of pressure at hand, because that number 50 of Clayton Davies, he's won quite a bit in ODSE competition over the years. A lot of potential to snatch that victory away. Just got to remember, this is deciding your starting order at the back of the feature grid. So if you lose a couple of positions here, it's not going to be a huge deal. You might be able to work your way back up when the A-main gets going.
Yeah, exactly right. And if you have a shocker here, it's doesn't matter too much. You can recover your night and still have a decent one as we're underway. Very, very good jump there from Crawley at the front. Borden, he's got a little bit of trouble, lost a couple of spots, but Clayton Davies has already made his way to the front.
Yeah, Davies running the high line and looking supreme up there. Very comfortable indeed. Crawley's going to try and switch up because he knows that the bottom is not quite very pacey at the moment. It is on for second. Crawley followed by De Bruin and Stevens, with Corey Borden in the 07 there trying his best to stay in touch. Stevens is going to line up a run up the side here and try to get past Crawley, park it up top and don't allow Crawley the opportunity to fight back. Yeah, I mean, the high line is definitely where it's at. Anyone who tries to dip down low just compromises themselves, it seems, unless you're Sean Stevens, who seems to be motoring forward nicely.
He's the only one that's made that inside work, and saying that right on cue, Crawley makes the inside work through 1 and 2. But anyone that's doing it the whole way around doesn't seem to have the pace to maintain the line. As just at the back a shot there, Corey Borden trying to make it work, but couldn't. Also seen Daniel Nichols dropped off to the back of the field as well. Something's happened to him as he's struggling now. He's got he and Tristo go at it. They're fighting over the last running position in this race. It's a cool little fight.
Yeah, very nice indeed. Trying to give each other a bit of space there as Nickel lifted off to avoid running into the back of Tristo. And he clips the tyres, and that's completely ruined the front left. Daniel Nickel is out of the last chance qualifier. He will be starting dead last for the feature.
Yep. No coming back from that one. Clayton Davies, speaking of, no coming back to catch him. The pace he's got at the moment, he's broken out to a 2.5 second lead. That's huge in this race.
Yeah, that's massive.
Fourth and fifth. Third, fourth and fifth actually ongoing. There's a little bit of contact there. That's Corey Borden getting shuffled back to 6. So it's on now between Crawley, Aston Hurley, who's found that pace finally. Now got himself up into 4th. Into 3rd. Makes contact.
Oh no, it's all gone wrong. Oh dear. Well, they struggle to get going, but they ultimately do. And, Robert Crawley will have to try and fight over the scraps here with Cameron De Bruin. And Tristan Yelland has found his way into 5th spot. It is the final lap, and problem for Hurley. He spun as Clayton Davies takes victory. Stevens and Borden will complete the podium in the last chance qualifier, but Tristan Yelland is going to get into 4th. Not a bad run there from Tristo.
Well done, Tristo. He'll be very, very ecstatic with that too. He'll be very, very happy with that result. So that finishes the determination of our bottom half of the field. Top 6, though, we're about to work out. Davies, Stevens, Borden, Yelland, Crawley, De Bruin, Hurley and Nickel will be 16th through to 23rd in the A main. Let's work out the top 6.
Indeed. Let's go for it right now. Series admin Brady Baldwin is with us in the comms box now, ready to bring the drivers in for the run at the spinny wheel. And it's been a controversial addition to the 2024 ASC series, but you know what? I like the little bit of extra randomness that it brings to proceedings.
Yeah, Reese, well, one thing about tonight, unfortunately, lower car count, which unfortunately not all of us can control, but there's only a 6-car redraw this week, so I can't go to 8th because I'm the first guy. Luckily or unluckily, we'll see what happens.
I'm going to put you in 8th anyway.
I knew that was coming.
Jay going to be doing a little bit of engineering behind the scenes. Bring up the spinning wheel and give it a spin. Only 6 segments here tonight. Where is Brady going to start? That golden triangle of first looking quite close, but it's going to be a front row for you, Brady.
That's not too bad. Again, a major lack of prep for me. I'm heading off to Gladstone in literally an hour, so get this race done. Hopefully we can have at least a fun race, even though we've got 23 cars or whatever, and see what happens.
Indeed we shall. Brady Baldwin getting that front row. Will Ethan Winter be joining him? Ethan is with us now. Successful night for you so far, Ethan. Your options are basically pole or everything else.
Yeah, ideally it would be pole, but I think this track will have a lot of passing in it. Should be some long green flag run, so I look forward to it.
Oh, just missing out on pole. It's going to be 4th for you, Ethan.
That's not bad. I'll play it patient. Don't have to worry about points tonight because obviously Tim didn't show up. So I'll do my best to win this race.
Excellent stuff. It's going to be outside second row for Ethan Winter. Now we're joined by Josh Barry. Only 4 options for you here. It's pole, third, or fifth and sixth.
Take what beer give me, mate.
We'll have to wait and see how this turns out. Oh, again, so close, but it's going to be third place for you, Josh.
I will take it. Thanks, mate.
Josh Barry bringing himself into third spot for the starting grid. And, well, that pole position, the chances are rising for the likes of Kobe Noonan. So it's either third row or pole for you.
Yeah, well, hopefully we can have, wherever we start, hopefully we can have another run like we did last round at Port. So fingers crossed I can keep it up the front again, which will be good.
It's going to be a fifth place start for you. The spinny wheel has spoken.
Nah, that's all right. We'll make something happen.
Yeah, we shall indeed. Inside third row for Kobe Noonan, and now it's first or sixth for Zach Rattray White. Man, couldn't get further apart.
I'll take the pole, please, mate.
All right, we shall see.
Oh, God
Oh, no.
It's rigged. It's rigged. Synergy's on the front row. It's rigged.
mate. What a bust up.
Well, sixth place for Zach Rattray White, which means Jaden Russell, congratulations, you got pole position for the feature.
Not what I was looking to hear, but we'll take it.
All right, yeah, that's interesting because I think that's the first time that we've had pole position be the last position to be decided. So yeah, what's your plan from here, Jaden?
Stick to what I know. Hopefully the track flicks off enough to where I can be able to keep up with the guys at the front.
All right, it's been an all right night for you so far, Jaden. Best of luck for the rest of it.
Thank you.
All right, Jay. Let's get things started for the feature then. Man, Russell and Baldwin on the front row, Barry and Winter on row 2, Noonan and Rattray White 5th and 6th. This is going to be a very interesting feature. As Brady said, less of a car count here tonight, so we're not going to have as much chaos in the first few laps as in previous rounds, but should still be some good racing.
100% it would be some great racing. I think this track just naturally provides great racing, so really looking forward to seeing what happens when we get into this A main coming up. Lots of drivers with lots to gain that, you know, might not get themselves up into that top echelon of driver in this field. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens when we get into the race in the next few minutes.
Yep, the drivers just running in the track at the moment, just getting their eyes in for the track conditions. But one thing that I am noticing is, yeah, once again, the high line is where you want to be. So that's how it's going to be at the very start. But as the race goes on, there is all the potential in the world for the bottom line to come back into its own. You know, if cars don't run over it for a while, the grip tends to come back. Okay, a little bit of difficulty out there for a few people, but we get a small taste of what the racing is going to be like in just a few moments' time. 35 laps on the cards for the feature race here tonight, and it is going to go by in the blink of an eye. Charlotte is a flat-out circuit. All you need really is a little brush of the brakes to get the car turned in for these corners.
100%. It is a very, very difficult place, but it's such a fast track, so the same breath as it being difficult, it's going to provide some really good racing when we get into the race in a couple of minutes' time. So fingers crossed we get into it in a minute. I think the drivers, because we haven't seen a huge amount of racing, they're getting a little bit of extra time out on track tonight just to bring the track up to what we would normally see for the A main come the night's end.
Yeah, what I am noticing is, particularly in turns 1 and 2, there's a fair amount of slick right up the top. So basically, you've got to be incredibly precise with where you position your car if you're running the high line. There's only really enough space for the right rear, and that's about it. But the right rear is the most important tyre on a sprint car.
Yep. exactly right. And, we'll no doubt see the drivers struggle a little bit with it throughout the night as well. So I'm still trying to fix my weird tech issues as well. My PCs aren't talking to each other like they normally would be. And, I haven't changed anything, so I'm a little stressed right now, Reese. I don't know why.
Well, I think it'll be tough to match the stress levels of the drivers in the midfield when we finally get this feature started. And speaking of, we're right there now. The session is changing over. And we'll get started for our feature grid. Now, remember that the top 6 are not going to be in the same order that we're showing them at the moment. But remember, Baldwin is starting in second place with Jaden Russell on pole position. They'll switch into their positions there. Yeah, Russell and Baldwin front row, Barry and Winter second row, and Kobe Noonan and Zach Rattray White 5th and 6th. And then we move on to the rest of the field. Cole Ferguson and Bradley Oldfield will be starting on the 4th row of the grid, with the top 10 rounded out by Bilson and Leeson. John Schultz starting in 11th place alongside Daniel Boyd. Lucky 13th is going to be filled by Hayden Vickers, and well, I mean, he hasn't had much luck this season, so maybe starting 13th will be better for him. Let's be honest, Nathan Vanderwacker will be starting in 14th. Unfortunately for him, he hasn't quite been able to get up to the heights that he's reached previously, with Ryan and Davies on 15th and 16th, Sean Stevens and Corey Borden on the 9th row of the grid. Top 20 rounded out by Tristan Yelland and Robert Crawley, and then we have Cameron De Bruin, Aston Hurley and Daniel Nickel rounding out our 23 car field for this feature, the penultimate round of the Oceanic Dirt Sim Events Australian Sprintcar Championships for 2024. After this, we'll be saying goodbye to the 410s, the championship finale in 2 weeks' time in the 360s.
The 360s have provided some brilliant racing throughout the seasons, throughout seasons past, and throughout this season as well. So it's going to be some great racing when we get into the 360s next round. And just because they've got a little bit less power doesn't mean that the racing is anything less. If anything, they seem to put on just as big a show as the 410s. Just it feels like it's a little bit different in the way that the racing plays out. It's probably, if anything, a little bit closer.
Yeah, certainly. And when you get to the tighter tracks, the 360s can really, they really show what they can do. All right. Getting ready for the call to the start here for Jaden Russell. He's going to pull away here. The green flag flies and we are racing at Charlotte. Good start from Russell. Almost gets cleaned up on the inside by Josh Barry. Running high and 4 wide. Brady Baldwin trying to keep his hold on a podium position, but it seems like the top of the circuit hasn't quite come in yet. They're all over the place, all over the track, and it's not clear yet which line is the best.
I don't think there is a best line at the moment, is there? There's lots going on out there, and drivers are really struggling to find a bit of room out on track, but Jaden Russell's made great work of this pole position advantage, and he's starting to make inroads at the front. Kobe Noonan's done a little bit of work, but Brady Baldwin's the one that's struggling. He's dropping a long way back.
Yeah, he was speaking about how he hasn't had much time to prepare for this race, but, you know, going from the quick time, fastest driver in qualifying and winning his heat, to middling down there in 8th place after starting second, not ideal. The caution is out, and it looks like
Corey Borden.
Yeah, Corey Borden with an issue there in his machine. Now, exactly what happened to Borden remains to be seen, but it looks to me like it was a combination of a mistake and a running together with Cameron De Bruin. De Bruin just minding his own business on the more of an inside line, it seems, and Borden having a bit of a slide and coming down the circuit off of turn 4. This is how it all happened. So Borden struggling a bit for grip, and then he comes down and goes straight into De Bruin and gets spun around for his troubles.
Pretty heavy whack to the wall there too, wasn't it? So unfortunate for him, but he'll press on. He's already come into the pits to use his spare car. A couple other drivers actually have driven in to get their spare cars done as well. So De Bruin, Borden and Stevens have all come in to use a spare. Remembering that in the first 20 laps, everyone can come in and use the spare car and get back out on track. But after that, the spare cars are gone and you cannot use them anymore. So fingers crossed for those guys, they don't have any more dramas. But those tyres on the inside of the track, I think they will cause dramas come the end of the night.
Yeah, they certainly will, especially if you see drivers trying to attempt slide jobs to get positions. Another driver that's been struggling a bit is Nathan van der Wacker. He started in 14th and he's fallen all the way back down to 20th.
He actually has come in and used his spare car as well, I've just noticed. So he's obviously had some contact that we've missed.
Bit of a tough start for many of the drivers in this field, but we're about to get going for the restart here to begin the 6th lap of the race, and Jaden Russell once again leads them away. A bit more of an orderly start than we saw on the initial race start. Josh Barry running the middle line, and there's contact down low. Ethan Winter gets turned around, and massive contact. Oh, lordy.
It's a big hit, and lots of front-running drivers involved in that one.
Yeah, Zach Rattray White tapping Ethan Winter around, and looks like poor Kobe Noonan had absolutely nowhere to go there. No surprise to see that all of those drivers are jumping in for quick repairs. So this was the restart for Ethan Winter. Tried to get the run going on Rattray White and managed to get up the inside of him. But yeah, just a little bit of a tap down low.
Oh, and see Baldwin there ran over the tyre as well, so he's got damage to his car, but that was huge for Ethan Winter. Tell you what, lots of championship contenders involved in that one.
Yeah, looks like it. And you see how heavy the damage was on Winter's car. No wonder he came in.
The pits. Although in saying that, the tyre that was broken probably made it easier to drive it into the pits.
Yeah, potentially. Ethan isn't under as much pressure with a bad result for this round, because remember, his closest championship rivals like Tim Ryan and Harry Stewart are away for this week, and looks like Nathan van der Wacker hasn't had as successful a night as he would have wanted. So I think Ethan will still be all right on points, and I wouldn't. It's not out of the realms of possibility at all for Winter to fight back into at least a top 10 position, but we'll have to wait and see.
I also just seen that no real surprise when we saw that replay that Zach Rattray White's been given an end-of-line penalty for causing that incident, so he will drop to the back of the line. We'll see if this restart will be a single file or double file restart. I would guess it'll be single, as we've gone back-to-back cautions. That would be my understanding anyway. It should be single.
Yep, I can see it in the event log. Brady has changed restarts to single file, so
which is standard for back-to-back cautions.
It is indeed. We should get off to a nice orderly restart as a result. Jaden Russell has had a good race so far, and has held on to that lead despite everything. But now he'll face some extra pressure from Josh Barry, and this will be a difficult run forward. You know, Jaden, he didn't seem all that optimistic when we were talking to him after the spinny wheel, but he puts his head down, he gets the job done, and that's a really good restart for him, getting the gap that he needs over Barry, who's under pressure from Riley Bilson, who ran dangerously close to clipping those tyres down low. Bilson gets up into second, and now he'll try and pile the pressure on to Jaden Russell. There's also a bit of a comeback here from Cole Ferguson, who's found his way up into 4th spot. Some good stuff from him there.
100%. He's doing a great job at the moment. Whoa. Hold on to that. Bradley Oldfield also having a moment there, but yeah, that was big there for, was it Josh Barry having that moment
what happened?
there? Yeah.
What happened to Jaden? Something happened to Jaden Russell.
Oh, no. We got the caution back out again.
I don't know if it's tech issues or maybe even a hardware failure, but he clipped the tire. He clipped an inside tire and it destroyed his front suspension from the lead for Jaden Russell. He's going to fall all the way down to 10th at least.
Yeah, this is huge, and we said I didn't want it to be real, but he said that these tyres at the front are going to cause some issues. And look at that, bang, then off into the wall. And yeah, the field running past him, and the caution came out for that.
Yeah, that's a big shame for Jaden Russell. Well, he's gotten his spare car, and he'll re-emerge back onto the racetrack. But what that has done is it's given Bilson the lead of the feature, and Cole Ferguson not too far behind him in the number 81. We did end up running a little bit longer on that one, but I think, well, yeah, restarts have been changed back to double file. They have indeed.
Yeah.
So we'll be okay for a double file restart from here. I'll tell you what, this feature's going a little bit slower than I thought it would. We've had more cautions than I expected.
Interesting too that top 8 are the only cars that have not used a spare car. So out of our 23 starters, 15 have had to come in and use a spare, which surprises me a little. I would have thought that it would have been a little bit cleaner as well, but in the same breath, we're having a bit of a strange one tonight where all sorts of dramas going on. Pace car's in, we're going to go green again. Now Riley Bilson leading the field.
Yes, how is his restart acumen going to be? Away we go. And the green flag flies. Cole Ferguson immediately under pressure from Josh Barry, who flings it up the inside, but that's a bit too deep there for Josh Barry. John Schultz going to try and find his way up here, but the yellow flag is back out again. That is a large issue for Daniel Nickel.
Yeah, Daniel Nickel, and it looks like Zach Rattray White might have been the other car involved.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so...
Daniel Boyd and Jaden Russell as well.
Okay.
So it was actually rear end contact from Russell on Boyd that started all of that off. Zach Rattray White was in the vicinity, but he wasn't actually involved in the incident. So
he copped a fair bit of damage from the incident, but didn't cause any of it. He just ran into the wall. But here's the incident here. You can see Russell into the back
Boyd.
there's into Boyd, yep. And then you saw in the back there too. You saw Zach Rattray White's car driving across on the wall. And yeah, this is not the way that the night was looking like it was going to run. And I can tell you now that Race Control are reading the riot act to the drivers right now. They are basically telling them to stop messing around, start behaving, because the penalties are about to get a bit harsher if they need to start penalising drivers.
Yeah, it hasn't been the cleanest of features in a season that's been full of features that I think have actually been really good in terms of, number of incidents.
Last round, we had one caution for the night. Was it one caution or two cautions? One relatively early, then we had a huge long green flag run, and I think a late caution to give us that little sprint at the end. But yeah, we've had some really good races in regards to green flag runs. Others that haven't been quite so good, but tonight, fingers crossed, we get a nice long green flag run now. Bilson cuts it down. Great jump from him.
Yep, did everything right there, but Cole Ferguson is going to immediately be on the attack, to say nothing of Josh Barry, who is running the high line at the moment and getting that momentum he needs down the straights. John Schultz running down low in the number 78. He's going to lose out to Josh Barry and potentially to Bradley Oldfield as well. As further back in the field, the number 23 of Tristan Yelland finds himself in the top 10. Van der Wacker finding himself up in 8th spot, just losing the spot for a moment there to Sean Stevens, but grabbing it back and getting into 7th. This is a good comeback here from Nathan.
Yeah, he's doing a great job to come back through the field after he will honestly admit hadn't been a great start to the night, but the recovery drive is very, very nice right now. Back up the front, it's getting very, very tight. Cole Ferguson switched from that inside line following Bilson to the outside, and now everyone goes inside, and I think they're almost tripped over each other. Bilson's going to lose the lead of the race to Cole Ferguson.
Or is he? Oh, yeah, actually, it looks like he will. Ferguson, he's struggling, though, isn't he? He's feeding that right rear tyre to the wall and cuts down low to put back any chance of a fight back from Barry or Bilson. And now switching back up high. There's a spinner further back. It looks like it might have been Kobe Noonan or Hayden Vickers. I'm not too sure. I think a bit of a self spin. So yeah, that's going to bring the caution back out once again with still less than half the feature distance complete.
And I've also been informed that the drivers were only given 10 laps to use their spare cars tonight, so that means that the race will be a bit more of a struggle for some of these drivers. So you see there's a car really slow in the middle of the corner. Is that Vickers?
Number 26, that's Sean Stevens.
And the 15 is Vickers, is it not?
Yes.
So Vickers was slow in the middle of the track. I need to investigate that a bit further, but he was almost stopped before.
Yeah, well, I did see a car spinning by itself just before the caution came out, so I think that might have been Vickers.
Yeah, that would make sense. So it's a bit unfortunate there that the drivers ended up running over them. Now, I've also just seen that Nathan Vanderwacker has been given an end-of-line penalty. So, okay, this will explain it a bit more when we see this replay in just a second, but Vanderwacker and Vickers have got involved, which started that chain reaction for that secondary incident.
Yeah, I was just saying that Vanderwacker was on a great recovery.
Sorry, Nathan.
But, yeah, we do apologise for that. Looks like a bit of an overcorrection down low for Vanderwacker. He came up into Vickers, and then Hayden tried to get back going, but the rest of the field just came steaming on through.
Messy one, that one, wasn't it?
Yeah, very messy indeed. Well, this is turning out to... Yes. Almost halfway, but it's turning out to be a bit of a caution fest. Hopefully, we get a solid green flag run going here. For now, Cole Ferguson has found his way into the lead of the race. Josh Barry in second and Bilson in third. Keep an eye out for Bradley Oldfield and John Schultz rounding out the top five. Let's see what they can do off this restart. Good restart from Cole Ferguson. Meanwhile, Barry, Bilson and Oldfield running a train on the high line, and Oldfield's going to cut down low here to try and get something done. The Vermilion car of Josh Barry struggling to find some grip there in the middle of the road, and Oldfield cannot get it done. Meanwhile, a little bit further back in the field, keep your eyes peeled, because my goodness, this is a great battle. Cameron De Bruin, Jaden Russell and Corey Borden are all there, and they're fighting hard over 13th position. Russell trying on the recovery after starting from pole. There's more contact again. This is going to be yet another caution.
That's Bilson and Josh Barry together.
Yeah, it is. Bilson and Barry making contact. Looks like Bilson flung it into the corner and just slid up into Barry. While Barry was coming down off the exit of turn 2.
Hit the wall at the exit of 4, which slowed the momentum. You see Cole Ferguson's done a big slider to get through, and then there's contact there with Bilson and Barry. And that's a heavy hit. So Josh Barry giving a big elbow to the car of Riley Bilson. Brain stopped working there for a second. I had to remember who was who. But yeah, interesting that he's just come in and used his spare car. I wonder if race control are going to be saying something about that.
Yeah, that was literally what I was about to say. Josh Barry, obviously... well, Barry stopped on the track now.
I wonder if he's just been told he wasn't allowed to use his spare car, or he'll be dropping back to the end of the line, I guess, as well, maybe.
Yeah, suppose so. Right then. Well, that's the way that we're going to be conducting this. I think Barry just went on autopilot there. Oh, damage. Come in, get the fast repair. But drivers do have to be aware that after a set number of laps, you cannot take it anymore. So that will leave Cole Ferguson in the lead of the race once again, coming up onto the start of the 20th lap of this 35-lap feature. It's been a pretty good run from Bradley Oldfield. He's keeping himself consistent and fighting in the top 3 as the restart gets going again, and it looks like Oldfield was right with Ferguson there on the restart. That was well executed there. Now Nick Ryan has to keep an eye out for John Schultz down low as the 51 goes for it. Bradley Oldfield tries to get into the lead with the slide job, and it looks like he might just be able to keep it. He's going to be on the high line. He's going to have the momentum, but Ferguson will keep himself up top, and he's going to cut back down is Bradley Oldfield. Let's see if this battle will stay clean. Look at Nick Ryan. He's right in the midst of this battle for the lead now.
Yeah, and Brady Baldwin and John Schultz are there as well. And don't forget Ethan Winter. He's come back through as well, as I've just seen. Is that Nick Ryan bouncing it over the tyre? Has he got damage from that? And I've also just seen disqualified from the race Josh Barry for using his spare car outside the prescribed window.
It's a shame there for Josh Barry, but rules are rules. Meanwhile, they're running into, looks like a bit of lap traffic here. I think that's Corey Borden, or, no, that's, sorry, got my number 7s confused. That's Brady Baldwin there in the number 7, who's found himself back up into 3rd. I wasn't expecting that.
No, neither. I've just seen there's a car slow out on the track. Is that Rob Crawley who's slow? Aston Hurley also slow, so they've actually pulled it off the track. We're going to stay green. That's great to see that they've been able to get off the circuit, get out of the way, and let the drivers race. There's Brady Baldwin sliding up the inside. Will he get past Cole Ferguson? I think he will, but it's side by side across the line. Dead heat at the line. 10 to go. This is not done. Here comes Bradley Oldfield back into it again.
Yeah, this is turning into a great battle for the lead, and Ferguson had to get out of it there as Baldwin slid across him, and Brady gets into the wall. He's going to fall outside the top 3. Ethan Winter with the mega comeback here. He's going to try and go for 2nd on Oldfield if he can keep that momentum up. For the time being, it is still a 2-horse race between Cole Ferguson and Bradley Oldfield, but Ethan Winter, the championship leader, is coming back.
Yeah, Oldfield back through, and then goes Cole Ferguson back through, and Ethan Winter, Brady Baldwin, and Nick Ryan. Don't count him out. Even though he may have some damage, he's still doing a good job. I don't know how that car's facing the right direction, let alone with all 4 wheels on it at the moment, bouncing over that tyre. But Ferguson and Oldfield, they're going at it, and going at it hard. They are not giving each other any extra room than they need to. Just enough, and that's it.
Yeah, but that's what we want to see, right? We've seen so many battles end in tears tonight, and for the time being, looks like this lead battle is nice and clean. Keep an eye out for John Schultz as well. He's still sitting there in 5th place, and he's held on to that position for the majority of the running. And this top 6 continuing to jet away from the rest of the field. De Bruin, Van der Wacker, and Stevens battling over 7th, and not seeing much sign of them getting any further up here. Coming up to 4 laps to go. And Cole Ferguson versus Bradley Oldfield has been the fight of the night so far. Ethan Winter hasn't been able to make an impression on either of these guys. They might be trading places corner to corner, but they're not losing all that much time.
No, they're not at all. They're actually doing a good job of getting a little bit of a gap back to Winter. In saying that, Cole Ferguson didn't get the lead back as he tried the slider through 1 and 2 last time. And now Winter is right there. 2 to go when they come across the line. Will we see another chance for Ethan Winter to steal a win away? I think Bradley Oldfield might have done enough here to win this race.
Yeah, potentially. It's going to be white flag next time by. And here comes Oldfield for one more half-mile transit of the dirt track at Charlotte. Can Cole Ferguson hang on to 2nd place, or will Ethan Winter pull a slider right at the end of the race? He's going to go for it, but there's not enough momentum down low. Bradley Oldfield crosses the line and is the feature winner at Charlotte in the 2nd last round of the season.
And Cole Ferguson holds on from Ethan Winter by nearly 2/10 in the end. A crazy race that ended up with only 12 finishes, which I think surprises you and I, that we've had so many out of the race in the end from damage and incidents and the like. But I think a thoroughly deserved podium in the end there. It had everything, that race. All sorts of chaos, drama, calamity, good racing in amongst it. And a great result in the end for Oldfield and Ferguson. Great battle for the win. And Ethan Winter, what a recovery.
Yeah, brilliant stuff from Ethan Winter. Just goes to show why he's the championship leader. But the floor is Bradley Oldfield's for the time being. He's going to celebrate this victory quite a bit. It was a tough race, but Oldfield putting himself into that top running position quite early on. Just held on, bided his time, and he was able to get it done.
100%. Great job from him, and winning by 6.5 tenths, a decent margin for this series. We've seen 1 and 2 tenth finishes before, but a 6/10 victory in the end. Probably helped by Ethan Winter coming and trying to steal that position from Cole Ferguson in the end. But a great podium for those guys. Brady Baldwin finishing in 4th from Nick Ryan, John Schultz, Cam de Bruin, Nathan Van der Wacker, solid 8th considering how his night started. It could have been a lot better. It could have been a lot worse though. Sean Stevens and Bailey Leeson, not much between them across the line in the end.
In 11th place was Daniel Boyd with Corey Borden and the last finisher on the lead lap, and actually the last finisher full stop. Tristo Yelland was out 10 laps from the end. We had retirements from Hurley, Crawley, Russell, our pole sitter, Bilson, Vickers, Noonan and Davies, and it just the stories just kept getting more horrific for the likes of Daniel Nicol, Zach Rattray-White and Josh Barry. Man, that was an absolutely crazy night of racing. Once again, in the ODSE ASC series for the dirt track at Charlotte. We are with our feature winner, Bradley Oldfield, as we speak. Bradley starting in 8th, and it took you quite a bit of effort to get up into those top positions, but the car looked fast as soon as you got there.
Yeah, it was just early on. It was just more of a case of getting a feel for the car. You know, I chucked a couple of things at it that I've kind of been learning recently, and yeah, it worked once again. I was pretty happy with it. Yeah, no, it was a good race with Cole and Ethan and Brady. It was getting pretty hectic there, but no, I was super stoked to get the win.
Yeah, as you should be. It's a big championship points haul with only one round to go after this.
Yeah, I think I'm a fair way back in that anyway. I've missed probably more than a few, so but. No, it was I'm really stoked with this result. I really didn't think I was going to be anywhere tonight. Cheers to Riley and all the boys back in Discord who helped me out tonight. My usual candidates are actually on a plane at the minute, so yeah, so I had to find some more people, and thankfully they stepped up.
Fantastic stuff. Is there anyone else you want to give a shout out to before we let you go, Brad?
Yeah, just Pace Apparel, Stickers Suspension, Austrian Morley, Ultra Engines, all of the usual guys. Thanks for them, because it's more than just tonight, and they'll be surprised I got this result, same as me.
Indeed, Bradley Oldfield, an unlikely winner here in the feature at Charlotte. Well, next up, the number 81 of Cole Ferguson joining us there. You were in contention for victory pretty much all the way through that feature, Cole, and I think a second place is certainly nothing to sneeze at, but it would seem difficult to find the grip out there.
Yeah, the track was interesting. It got a bit top dominant at the end, and it really, as I was saying to Bradley, it really just depended on who had the bigger cojones to really like put us close to the wall as possible, and he had more than me. But absolutely stoked to run home second. I got on the podium at Lucas a few weeks back after post-race penalties, but to do it tonight, like the proper way, finish on the podium and battle for a win like that, in the race that I sponsored for the night, I got on board and sponsored this race. So to do well here, I was saying to the boys all week, I wanted to do well here, and we have, and it's a good boost for our points after missing a few rounds during the middle of the season. So yeah, the track was fun. It was racy. Had a great battle with Brady and Brad for a lot of that race, and I think that battling should hopefully show some of the other guys in the field that, you know, we can race close and not hit each other, because there's been a few cautions of late. But I mean, hey, it's all good. We're on the second step, and we'll take it.
Indeed, of course. If any of you aren't aware, Cole runs Australian Speedway Results, which posts, of course, results for Australian Speedway Racing and Australians racing overseas on the Facebook page. So a big shout out to Cole for running Australian Speedway Results and getting us the title sponsorship here for this round. Is there anyone else you'd like to thank before we let you go?
I'd love to thank Joey Lingron Photography, Nathan Waddell and Kiefer at the Plumwild podcast, District 23, CJB Speedworks, all the guys at Vortex Simsport and BBS that do testing week in, week out. A massive thank you to Colin Bocas. Took a shot on me a few months ago because he saw I was running well, and his help has been absolutely amazing, and hopefully we can continue this in the further. And yeah, just really appreciative of all the guys that come in and test each week, and yeah, especially Colin. So and thanks to you guys for putting the broadcast on, and a big shout out to Brady. Really appreciate what he does for Australian Speedway on iRacing.
All right, Cole Ferguson joining us there, second place in the feature. And our last podium interview for the night is going to be Ethan Winter, who should hold on to the championship lead after a pretty tumultuous night for you, Ethan.
Yeah, that was interesting for sure. I'm not honestly sure what to do with all the cautions and stuff, but you know, I made it interesting for once. I had to come from all the way back, avoid some wrecks just barely, and yeah, just see that battle at the end. That was nice to watch, and congrats to Brad, obviously, on first time winner.
Yeah, fantastic stuff from Brad there. But for your race, I mean, the track seemed to evolve in a bit of a weird way, didn't it? It seemed like every driver was struggling for grip at some point through the night.
Yeah, early on, there was quite a few lines. Honestly, the top wasn't the quickest there to start with. You could really, you know, use the moisture that you could visually see and get good runs everywhere. And then, you know, once we got that green flag run going, it kind of just moved up to the top, and it was just big sliders from there. And I guess just hold on and hopefully no one runs into the back of you.
Oh, well, with another podium on the board for you, Ethan, the championship lead is still yours coming into the final round in 2 weeks' time. So the pressure is still on, but headed on your way towards the top.
Yeah, I think, I don't know the maths exactly, but I think if I just make the feature next week, I think I'll lock it up. So we'll focus on that and go out and try win next week to finish the season off.
Indeed we shall. Cedar Lake Speedway playing host to the final round. Is there anyone else you'd like to thank before we let you go, Ethan?
Yeah, I want to thank Colin and Joey for putting the whole deal together. Brady, Liam for, you know, continued patience with the series and the drivers. You know, it's been a topsy-turvy couple of rounds lately, but they're sticking through, and it's been good racing at the front. You know, race control, turning up every week. Damon for doing the photos. Obviously yourselves at SimSpeed. Race sponsor Cole, ASR, putting the money on the line, and you know, a good event all in all. Bocus Built Sprints, District 23 Suspension Engineering, Pace Graphics, Joey Lingard Photography, Vortex Sim Sport for, you know, putting the laps in and helping us and us helping them, and obviously congrats to Brad and Cole on the podium.
Ethan Winter there, remaining in the championship lead as we end things off for tonight. Jay, Cedar Lake is going to be the final round of the championship, the Neuropower Wisconsin Duel on the 3rd of October. Really looking forward to that one. Love Cedar Lake, love the racing it puts on, and we'll be able to crown a champion to boot.
Yeah, I was talking to Brady about it before we started and saying how it feels like the season has been really, really long, with it being 17 rounds, but it has flown in the same breath. It's been so action-packed every single round that it hasn't felt like it's gone any longer than it's needed to. So it's been a really, really good season, and congratulations once again to Bradley Oldfield, deserving race winner tonight in the A main, and really looking forward to seeing how we go next week when we head to Cedar Lake for the final round. In the, as we said before, it'll be in the 360s as well, which does provide a bit of extra something. I don't know what it is, but something happens when the drivers get into those cars.
Yep, look forward to it. Mark that date down in your calendar, 3rd of October. Coverage from 8:15 Australian Eastern Standard Time. Well, we want to thank you all for tuning in over the course of the night. Big thanks, of course, to Cole Ferguson and Australian Speedway Results for sponsoring this night of racing in the ASR Charlotte Rumble, the penultimate round of the Oceanic Dirt Sim Events Australian Sprintcar Championships for this year. Whether you're from YouTube, Facebook, Twitch or Kick, we thank you very much for watching. I'm Reese Gardner, Jay Kennedy with me in the comms box, and also producing behind the scenes here on SimSpeed TV. We'll see you next time.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.